Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I have probably the easiest presentation is really a recap from where we started. So it's very similar to what we presented last year. And it's really just asking a question, so why the hell are we going through this process, given what we already have for elephants? So I had to go and Google this because I didn't really know what a strategy is, and it seems like a lot of different people have different ideas on what a strategy is. So Google says strategy is a high-level plan to achieve one or more goals under conditions of uncertainty, a plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim, a method or plan chosen to bring about a desired future, such as achievement of a goal or a solution to a problem. So, and that's really what we are trying to look at in this strategy. So why do we need an elephant strategy, given that we have norms and standards for elephants, we have management plans on a local level, provincial level. There's so much around elephants. Why do we need an actual strategy? So for starters, elephants mean different things to different people, and they have different roles to play, and there's different values around them. So if we just look at elephants in our country, elephants are a flagship species, they're charismatic, they're valued for tourism, they're cultural totems, they're ecosystem engineers, they're conservation umbrellas for protection. There's loads that you can say there. But at the same time, despite these benefits, there's also direct conflicts with people. People get killed and injured, issues with livestock, conflict there, crop raiding, and destroying of infrastructure. So they're not all just good. They also raise arguments. One of the biggest debates within South Africa is, do we or don't we have too many elephants, and what are the impact on biodiversity? There's also arguments around consumptive use, hunting, and there's other welfare concerns. And then my absolute favorite, having spent 2.5 weeks there, and give you an indication of the issues at CITES. So CITES, as Craig mentioned yesterday, there were 57 species proposals. 5 of those were on elephants. And then in total, there's just over 100 documents that we had to go through in 2 weeks in CITES. And of those documents, over 20 pertain to elephant. So they're one of the species, probably the species at CITES that creates the most conflict and debate. So even on an international level, on all aspects, live trade, ivory, the way we manage hunting, everything. So why do we need the strategy? We keep on going with that. Well, we have the norms and standards for elephant, but the norms and standards are really a how-to tool. It really tells us what we can and cannot do. It doesn't give us an overarching goal, and this is what we're managing towards. So that is what is lacking within our norms and standards. And I'll get back to that. One of the other reasons that we decided that we want something specific pertaining to South Africa is that we were pushed really hard from the IUCN side and internationally to develop an elephant action plan. And an elephant action plan doesn't really address the issues and the focus that we want. So now I've got competition. that we would like to address within South Africa. So it would have been a very easy way out in developing an action plan. And within 1 year, we could go tick, 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 all done, all good, let's move on, which wasn't the objective. So through the norms and standards process, we did a lot of stakeholder engagement. And it wasn't just the norms and standards, there was also the research and evidence-based strategy workshops that was held through DEFF, and all of them raised a number of issues. So the first is that the norms and standards doesn't address broader policy aspects, including areas not covered by the regulation nature of the norms and standards, and which required a consolidated, coordinated national approach. So there's a couple of those things. It needs to be focused and efficient, enhances the conservation of national elephant herd, and then also the various benefits which should flow from this. So those things, those broader policy things, were really not addressed within the norms and standards, and requires a higher level document that takes us in a single direction. So what should the strategy focus on? Well, that's not for us to decide. That the process will unfold, and that's really why we're going through the process that we are doing, is that through the process, all stakeholders will then provide input in what should we be focusing on in the strategy going forward. And this is really the end of my talk. So next up would be Johanna, and he will tell you more of what we've been doing up to date in the process that we are following. Thank you.